Let me see. Can I crank out one more thumbnail? One, two, three, four, five. Let me crank out one more. How many thumbnails have I fucking done? I think I did like 5. One, two, three. There should be one more. I don't know. Do I want to do Gohan versus Kid Buu and just like knock that out? What's up? Shit. I think I want to do one more. Probably like, fuck. Trying to think. Should this be a versus battle? Mm, What up, everybody? Looking. All right, I got like 2 that I want to do. I hope y'all know I'm not taking this fucking time to be lazy and shit. You know, I've been trying to cope with the axing of my last video. I had to take that down. Um, it was doing good at first, and that's why I'm like so pissed off. It was like when I first posted it for the very first time, it was doing good, and then they blocked it, and it started fucking up. I took it down, reposted it, they blocked it again. I kept doing it, and I just kind of got tired. So now, um, I'm focusing on other projects and other videos. There's still the tier list we got to get done. That's gonna become a video. I just got to make the thumbnail for that. But yeah, like hold on, let me show y'all what I've been working on. Um, all right, so I don't know if I can see this. Okay, I can. Good. So this was the first one I was planning on doing, but we gonna axe that. This is the first one. This is the second one. I'm going over like the Super Saiyan transformation. This is me talking about Goku's character assassination. I'm probably gonna end up redoing this one because I don't like the way it looks. This one is coming up. This is just me going over Super Saiyan 2. A lot of people say this is Goku's worst form or like his most useless form, and I think this is like complete bullshit. So I'm gonna just go over that. Wait, can y'all see this shit? Hell no, y'all can't even see that. Nah, hell no. All right, yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Y'all looking at a straight blank screen. Okay. Uh, if y'all can see him now, this is what it looks like. So this is the first one. This is Z Gogeta versus Z Vegito. Um, Super Saiyan transformation, Goku's character assassination in Super. I'm definitely gonna redo this one. I can do it. I can do it way fucking better, way better. Um, this is me going over Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 3. This isn't what it actually looks like. The real one is this one. Hold on. The real one should be it's either gonna be this one or um this one. I'm more leaning towards this one. I think this one looks a little cleaner. So I'm gonna go with this one. And yeah. Okay, cool. So it already exists. That's good. Um I got a few more I want to get done and then yeah, I want to get the tier list video done. I want to get that thumbnail finished by the end of today. And probably gonna end up doing it on stream, being honest. And then I might end up doing like Mystic Gohan versus Kid Buu. Well, fuck. It's not what we're here to talk about though right now. Today we're gonna be reacting to some videos I saw. But yeah, we're gonna be reacting to some videos I saw. The first one I saw, which pissed me over, was Noodles debating Simply Troy. Now, I don't respect Simply Troy by any fabric of imagination. I think he's just like nothing more than Six's underling bitch. I don't really respect him. I don't care for him. But just as much as I can't stand Simply Troy, I probably hate Noodles even more because Noodles is the type of person that makes it seem like he knows what he's talking about. But when you listen to him speak, if you just sit there and truly analyze the words coming out of your mouth, you'll notice that A, he does shit for no reason. B, whenever he does shit, typically he fails to actually arrive at a point. And 3, when he does arrive at a point, the point is fucking abysmal and it makes no sense, right? So I'm going to give you a prime example, right? And that prime example is quite literally this video. So let's watch it, shall we? I'm going to show you.
Grammarly is an AI writing partner that works seamlessly with your everyday apps and helps professionals write better and faster so they can get all of their work done right there. So basically what Troy's doing, what Troy's trying, Troy just...
I said it could be.
Yeah,
Snakes, I'm about to let you up real quick.
It could be exaggerated, but...
So I want to go back, start right here. This is where it matters. Basically, to give off like a little bit of context before we get into what actually happens. This debate is about Sakura versus Kaguya. Fucking cancerous ass take. But basically Noodles has Kaguya or Simply Troy is taking Sakura, or not Sakura. Was it? Is it Sakura or Sarada? Yeah, Sarada. Yeah, my bad. So it's Sarada. He's taking her. Basically Noodles tried to not premise trap, but like trap Simply Troy on logic by like making it. That's not even important. Long story short, Noodles is trying to get across the argument that Kaguya has the ability to basically like move an infinite or like, you know, perceive an infinite universe and then create it or some shit like that. You feel me? Or like affect it. So that's what him and Troy are talking about right now.
Stated that the may cast its illusion upon all of reality. So that means she's perceived.
Are they talking about just in the context of Naruto or like
it says her Renish Sharingan in the 4th data book perceives all of reality. So it's just able to perceive.
Okay, is that just hyperbole or just mean the everlasting infinite universe?
It's said in the same sentence that she casted the illusion on all of reality as well. So it's like,
yeah, you keep saying all reality. That doesn't mean anything unless you put
context
it
as well. So like, I don't think it's like exaggerated.
Yeah, that can just mean Earth. Yeah, you don't have to think it's exaggerated. You can't prove it.
Okay, but you can't prove it is exaggerated. In fact,
yeah, but this is your claim.
I can demonstrate this.
Burden shift of doom. What the fuck? Burden shift of doom. Noodles, it's your claim. You are on the positive. You would need to provide some kind of likelihood or evidence to your claim. Like, what the fuck?
It's like incorrect because you're aware if you just baselessly assume statements can be exaggerated, that's a self-defeating.
That's not assuming anything. This is inherent to your.
You are assuming it's exaggerated though.
What am I? No, I didn't say it was exaggerated. I said it could be.
Yeah,
Snakes, I'm about to let you up real quick.
It could be exaggerated, but your counter argument could be exaggeratory right now too, right? Like that's
okay, but this is your skill and this is inherent to yours. This doesn't matter to mine.
What you're saying is that like any statement ever without context could potentially be exaggeratory. So that means any statement could be just.
There's nothing wrong with saying that. That's categorically true. There's nothing wrong with saying that. There's dead ass nothing wrong with saying that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. All right.
Self-defeating by itself if you just point that possibly. Yeah, right. That includes your own arguments. It's possibly, yeah. Possibly, yeah. Troy just conceded right there. So
I'm gonna let him explain why that's a concession. Because if anybody with a functioning brainstem should be able to understand why what Troy just said is not a concession, but instead like reinforcing the fact that Noodles needs to provide some kind of substantiation for his point. So, I'm gonna let him explain, and then I'm gonna explain why that explanation's dumb as fuck, and then I'm gonna explain why he truly is under that burden and why Troy did not concede.
Basically, what Troy's doing, what Troy's trying to do is he's trying to put the burden on me and say that he's just being skeptic, that they're exaggerating.
It is on you, Noodles. What the fuck? You made the claim. The burden is on you.
Rating that they don't actually mean infinite in the sense that I think they mean infinite, like the actual definition of infinite.
It's also not what he's taking into question right now. But even then, I don't even know if that's actually what's stated about the infinite Tsukuyomi, but we'll get to that in a second. That's not what he's putting into question. What he's putting into question is whether or not the term like reality is in retrospect to the entirety of the universe or just Earth, right? And he's saying that your statement can either A, be hyperbolic, or B, just not be in reference to the universe like you're claiming.
They just mean it in an exaggerated way. And I just bring up the fact that he's making that claim baselessly. So he's saying it's possible that they are exaggerating. What is the evidence for that possibility is basically what I'm pointing out. He's just based.
Anytime a motherfucker tries to run this route, just know they don't know what they're talking about. Because all you have to do is just flip the question on them. Do you believe that in no possible world that this is the case? Like, do you believe that in no possible world this is the case? That it's impossible in every world for this to exist or for this to be the case? If you disagree with that assessment, that is a concession by definition. Like, if you disagree that it is impossible in every world, right? You are disagreeing with the fact that this is something that needs to be. Oh my fucking God. Noodles, noodles, come on. If you disagree that it's impossible in every world, right? In every world, that means that there is a possibility of this being the case. Like, do we not study any kind of philosophy before we got on the fucking internet? Like, what the fuck? Bro, this is crazy.
Baselessly saying it can be exaggerated with no evidence. And my issue with that, if we take that standard, right, and we apply it to any statement at all, right, so just literally any statement in fiction or in real life, and we say that this statement could be potentially exaggerated, and we can make that claim without evidence, we can no longer derive meaning from words because of the potentialities that it's either exaggerated or literal. We can never determine which one is which because if we just assert baselessly that there's a possibility that that's not what it means, then there's a possibility that what your counter argument doesn't mean what it's supposed to mean either. It could be.
That is the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my fucking life. Okay. Noodles. There is a massive difference between what you're doing and what he's doing. Okay. Him throwing out the possibility of your argument or your point being over exaggerated is a fat negative for you. The reason why it doesn't affect Troy, right, is because Troy should then have the ability to explain and extrapolate as to why this is then a possibility of hyperbole. You said that if we just go with the possibility that words or, that there might be an alternate meaning to something else, right, with no context, and that's going to like destroy the overall concept of linguistics and how words are actually built and how words, have meaning. It's just stupid because words categorically have meaning based on context. What the fuck? Like, words have meaning based on context. That's why when you open up a dictionary and you see a different definition of a word, there's a fat text box above it that talks about the specific context in which this word is being defined. So when it comes down to what the words actually mean, context is needed. And if you are simply just saying that this is true with no kind of context or no kind of evidence supporting it to be true, Troy can simply throw out the fact that this is possible, that there are other definitions or other meanings. That's not logically invalid, and that's not a concession. What the fuck is he talking about? Am I bugging, chat? Or did I just break down basic philosophy? Am I bugging? Or was that just basic debates? Was that debate 101? Like, come on, chat. There's no fucking way this man is real.
Be exaggerated. So I'm just basically showing how his standard of global skepticism can come back and bite him in the ass.
It doesn't,
because even
though.
Asserting that, there is this possibility that could debunk you, I can now assert that there is this possibility that could debunk your counter argument too.
Yeah, here's the issue. He's not on the positive, though. So even if you were to bring that up, y'all would still be on equal interpretation, which would still fuck you over in the end. Like, what? He's not on the positive. So him locking you in equal interpretation is benefiting him. So yes, y'all can keep doing that back and forth petty bullshit, but you cannot progress if you do not provide substantiation or a likelihood for the point that you made. Because you're on the positive. This is debate 101. Like, bro.
Employers see
And this
tons of
motherfucker has the nerve to put ads on this shit. Motherfucker.
Yeah, you don't want to be a global skeptic because you start to really fail to derive meaning and prove anything at that point.
That's openly not true.
That's how like skeptics get caught in like
Also, his job isn't to prove anything right now. Like, his job is just to provide counters and alternate ideas. That is all he is supposed to be doing right now. Your job is to provide evidence for the argument you made. That is your job.
Predictions and things like that. This is a very common tactic among like sophists, like philosophical debaters on Discord and online. They try to just be skeptic and make you prove everything. They never want to take a stance. They want to take a neutral stance. They don't want to justify claims with evidence. They don't want to talk about
That's fucking rich. That's fucking rich that you're begging for somebody to justify a claim with evidence, yet you've done none of that. Yet you have not done that yet.
Interpretation. They just want to bring up this random arbitrary.
Wait, what?
They don't want to talk about interpretation.
Y'all are on equal interpretation. What the fuck? Y'all are talking about interpretation right now.
Just want to bring up this random arbitrary possibility that the statement could be exaggerated. Just to
Noodles. By that logic, the only thing that is proving your point to be true is an arbitrary possibility. You have yet to give any kind of likelihood or substantiation for why this statement is actually referencing the entire universe. You have yet to say that.
To give you clarification on what the statement is that I'm referencing in the fourth data book, by the way. It's this one, the infinite Tsukuyomi.
Okay, where does it say infinite universe at? Because I don't give a fuck about anything he's talking about, right? Oh, nigga, you just conceded. Oh my fucking God, you just conceded. This nigga is dumb. He just fucking conceded. Oh my God. Bro. All right, chat. Let me just tell y'all how this motherfucker just conceded in live action, right? This is the statement that he is using to supply his evidence, all right? Or like that he's using as his evidence. That's the statement he's using. Infinite Tsukuyomi, Mugen Tsukuyomi, right there. Okay? His claim was that it is stated to be cast on all of reality, and that all of reality is in reference to the entire universe. Okay? That is what he stated. Let me tell y'all why he just conceded. The concession comes in when you actually read the fucking excerpt. The divine eye observes all things of creation caught in this prison of infinite dreams. On a full moon night, the Rene Sharingan, capable of manipulating the world, is reflected on the moon, and then its light illuminates people on earth. Hold on, hear this again. Capable of manipulating the world is reflected on the moon, and then it's reflected, or its light illuminates people on earth. Not the entire universe. Not the entire universe, my nigga. This is a simple earth. Like, it's casted on the earth. It illuminates the earth. What the fuck is he talking about? Where is he trying to say that? And where the fuck is it stated to be on all of reality? That's nowhere stated here. What the fuck? Does he mean all things of creation? What the fuck does this even mean?
The divine eye that observes all things in creation, caught in this prison of infinite dreams.
Clearly,
obviously,
it doesn't.
The first thing there is that I say that Kaguya can observe everything in the universe, so she can see all things in the universe.
That's not what all things of creation mean. That's not what all things of creation means. Jesus fuck. I can't believe we're still doing this fucking old ass, archaic ass argument from fucking 2020. Like, I'm still struggling to kind of believe this shit. I really don't understand it. I don't get how anybody would keep trying to like to force this idea. Like, I don't get it. But I'm gonna let him keep going.
taking in infinite information. And then it's stated that she
Taking in
creates
infinite. No, she's not.
infinite sized dreams that she puts people in. So she's literally manipulating infinite information. This is further repeated down here.
How can it be infinite dreams if, again, Kaguya is reflecting this on the earth, which is a finite amount of number? That is a finite number. That is a finite amount of people. That is 7 to 8 billion people. That's not an infinite dream. That's not infinite dreams. That's not what that means. Also, why the fuck are we taking the header portion of a data book entry as superseding what's actually stated? Like, those who have fallen into infinite dreams. There's a lot of that. Wait, actually, I think he did put the question of infinite and what that means in the question. My bad. He did put that in the question. My fault. I will say that he did put that in the question. He put that in the question as in like infinite in regards to like actually like everlasting, or like actually infinite in size or infinite in quantity, which again Noodles has yet to provide any kind of substantiation to. He's literally just using what's in question to back, like, and it openly makes him concede to. All right, get back to the debate. I don't care about this. This is just extra commentary. Just get to this.
Self-defeating.
Possible, but no, that's not an argument.
Your counter argument could be exaggeratory right now too, right? Like that's
Okay, but
possible.
this is your skill and this is inherent to yours. This doesn't
I know,
matter
but
to mine.
what you're saying is that like any statement ever without context could potentially be exaggeratory. So that means any statement could be just self-defeating by itself if you just point that possibility out.
Wrong.
Right? That includes your own
Possible, yeah.
arguments.
There you go, Troy.
It's self-defeating.
Possible, but no, that's not an argument. That presupposes
It
I'm
is
asserting.
self-defeating because you, at that point you're just arguing that that these possibilities just render the entire point
No,
useless.
that's
means
not
your
at all
entire
what I
point
said.
is
That's a
useless
straw
because the
man.
same possibility applies
That's
to
a
you.
straw man. That's not what I said.
It's not a straw man. I'm not saying what you said. I'm just saying what happened.
Oh, if that's not what I said, then it's not my argument.
Guys, one.
Sure, here's a unique version of your CV.
Oh, this fucking ad shit again. Also, another issue with Noodles, he don't let nobody fucking talk. Like he'll just say whatever the fuck, like whatever the fuck he wants to say. And whenever like you say something, like whenever he says something you categorically disagree with, like he'll never give you the time of day to respond. It's fucking annoying. Like you can even go watch that in the debate I had with him when I fucked him up. Like, bro,
this outlaw or snakes or whoever this guy is that's interrupting and stops talking. Yeah, what Troy's trying to say right here is that
he hasn't even fucking said anything yet. What the fuck? He hasn't even made a point yet.
That's not what I said. Then it's not my. If it's not what I said, then it's not my argument. Well, I didn't say it's exactly what you said. I'm not saying this is exactly what you said verbatim. I'm just saying.
So if it's not what he said, then it's not his argument.
This argument, this is where the logic leads to. So I'm not strawmanning him. I'm still using his logic. I'm just wording it in a different way. So he interprets this as a straw man. It's not actually a straw man.
Second.
I'm not strawmanning you, but I'm going to proceed to break your point down and then change it by using different words as a means of attacking it in a better manner. That is a straw man by definition, you fucking idiot. Oh my God. Jesus.
You verbatim said it could be the case that this is an exaggerated statement, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did capture what he was trying to say. I did capture the meaning of what he was trying to say. I understand.
No, you can think you did. That doesn't mean you did in actuality, but keep going.
He was trying to say. Okay, so what I'm saying is that is pointing out that it is possible that this could be exaggerated. So I'm now pointing out that your counter argument could be exaggerated. It's possible that your counter argument could be exaggerated.
but the difference between me and your claims is that
Here we go.
you're on the assertive. This is necessary for your scaling.
Thank you. Fuck, it took that nigga forever to say that. Jesus.
He is also making an assertion, though. I point this.
Oh my fucking God. No, he's not. No, he is not. Do you know what the fucking assertion is? Oh my fuck. Hold on. I hate to do this to niggas, but like, holy fuck. like, okay, an assertion is a confident and forceful statement of fact. Okay. All he did was say that it is possible, right? There's a possibility of this being the case. That is all he did. He never made a claim of fact. Ever.
This out.
This is not necessary for mine.
You're also
You
saying
need
it
to
could be
prove
possible.
this.
That is an assertion. Saying it could be possible is a positive.
Yeah,
assertion.
you.
Saying it could be possible is a positive assertion. Yeah, if you're saying it is possible, you just made a positive claim. It's possible. That's what
So Noodles. All right. This is where Troy should have just fucked you up, right? In order for you to claim that this needs some kind of evidence, you would then be implying that in no possible world, whose side is Noodles on? Kaguya. Fuck. But you would have to be claiming that implying that in no possible world, is this statement exaggerated? That's something that needs to be proven. And if you don't believe that, you just conceded to this being a possibility openly. Like, fuck.
That's what you're saying. You're saying something that's true. It's possible.
Troy.
It's true that
Troy.
it's possible.
Get to that.
I can also say it's true that it's possible that that original statement doesn't actually prove that it's true that it's possible because it could be exaggerated. I know that was very confusing. Possible. Whole girl.
Troy, get to the debate.
Infinite isn't being used literally is also.
I don't care about any of the refutations he gave if it's not in the debate. If it's his fucking extra bullshit commentary that he does after the pause, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to hear it. I'm only here to listen to the actual debate in question.
Possibly not true. The same line of reasoning that you're
shut the fuck up.
Joshua, I'm stopping you from proving your
say
claim
just like,
because you have
oh,
inherent
sorry,
presuppositions.
I could just, he says I have inherent presuppositions, but he's
You do.
also presupposing in this situation. He's presupposing
not.
it's possible.
He's not.
Say all of Sarada's feats could just be dreams, right? There's nothing.
Yeah, you can say whatever you
That's a
want. That doesn't
possibility,
mean it's
right?
going to defeat any scaling. I haven't.
Wait, what side are you on? I don't give a fuck who. I don't care. I don't particularly care about the topic. I don't like. My only concern is just like he got on here and said that he destroyed Simply Troy. So I wanted to hear like how he destroyed him. But like so far I haven't seen or heard shit like that actually proves anything.
Been given anything yet.
Well, that's what you can say. It's possible, but it's not going to defeat any scaling. Well, that's what he did in the very beginning of the debate. He said it was possible to defeat my scaling, right? So if just bringing up possibilities doesn't defeat scaling, then your whole initial argument doesn't defeat mine, bud. Your argument, that's what he did in the very. Well, that's what you can say. It's possible, but it's not going to defeat any scaling. Well, that's what he did in the very beginning of the debate. He said it was.
The possibility that I'm making does not affect my scaling. The possibility you are making affects yours. That's what he said, like openly. His statement was that again, his possibility affects nothing related to his scaling, so it's not of necessity to do that. However, on your end, you are on the positive overall. Again, he made a positive subpoint, but again, your premise in general is positive. The stance you're taking is positive. So again, the claim that you made was positive. Like, bro, he did the same shit after he lost to fucking Happy, after he lost to Swag Kage. When he lost to Swag Kage for both times, all he did was make excuses. That's all he did. My bad for yelling at y'all. I know I probably fucked up y'all eardrums. My fault. But like, bro, this nigga is dumb. Like,
It was possible to defeat my scaling, right? So if just bringing up possibilities doesn't defeat scaling, then your whole
that's
initial
not what he
argument
said.
doesn't defeat
That's not
mine,
what
bud.
he said. You're not tracking. Holy fuck.
Your argument is though, it's
This
just
nigga is not tracking, and I fucking went to my settings on accident. My fault, chat. That nigga is stupid. Holy fuck.
right there. So basically, what Troy
Can have this infinite.
Here's how I did it. Meal planning used to be
This nigga is
such a
not
nightmare.
real.
Endless
This nigga
grocery
is
lists,
not
finding nutritious
serious.
recipes, and figuring out
No bullshit. That nigga is not
range.
Progress.
The problem is,
Okay, you
say all of Sarada's feats could just be dreams, right? There's nothing.
yeah, you can say whatever you
That's a
want. That doesn't
possibility,
mean it's
right?
going to defeat any scaling. I
Yeah,
haven't
we're
given
reacting
anything
to
yet.
Well, that's
the
what-
Noodles debate in Simply Troy. This is Kage versus Sarda. Noodles is fucking terrible. This nigga sucks. Like, this nigga is actually fucking garbage. I'm not even joking. Like, this nigga actually sucks. Donkey dick. He's terrible. Holy fuck.
You can say it's possible, but it's not going to defeat any scaling. Well, that's what he did in the very beginning of the debate. He said it was possible to defeat.
Okay, we heard this part already. Jesus fuck.
Hyperbolic. So you would have to give some evidence, or else the possibilities are just equal.
Is that fucking calm rage, nigga? Is that fucking calm rage, lame ass? That nigga. Hey, shout out my son, Calm Rage, my nigga. This is
Hyperbolic. So you would have to give some evidence, or else the possibilities are just equal.
This nigga just stay wanting to be relevant on God. That's fucked up. I'm gonna talk about that DDG shit in a second, because low key it's just proving that like we as men are not protected by the legal system ever. Like we are never protected by the legal system. Like that shit is fucking sickening. This woman literally like threatened like to off herself in front of like her own son, like as a fucking emotional manipulation piece against DDG, and again, the temporary restraining order gets restricted for, or like gets denied for DDG, but for fucking Hallie, that shit got granted immediately. Sounds like bullshit to me.
Argument.
My bad, y'all.
Well, I think Troy is basically saying, but I get the counter argument, but Troy is basically saying it's inherent to your argument that it's not, hyperbolic. So you would have to give some evidence.
Either that's Calm Rage or that's some other nigga I've never. Oh, that's Outlaw Truth.
Or else the possibility.
That's Outlaw Truth. I thought that was Calm Rage, lame ass. No, that's
these are just
Truth.
equal,
right, cool.
And your claim can't progress.
The problem is that same argument's applicable to like every statement, including his own arguments.
No, that's not. And wait. You mean his own arguments as in like what he'll use to get like Sarda above Kaguya? True. But again, that's why he's going to provide a likelihood, dumbass. That's why you provide likelihoods when you debate.
This Outlaw True guy, he's trying to help Six here. You're completely irrelevant, big dog. You don't even understand what we're talking about at this given.
I think that is completely ironic considering who the fuck we're talking about right now. Like, considering Noodles is speaking.
Point.
Okay.
You're kind of like the third level goon henchman that like Batman defeats before it goes in the compound. You know what I mean? You're kind of like the alleyway goon that he destroys and dumps in the dumpster before he goes inside.
Very
fights
true.
The real villains. Like it goes like Six, then Troy and Sage of Six Cabs, and then there's you. Right? Like you're the third level goon. So
that's pretty spot on. That is pretty. Well, really, it's Swag, then Six. Because honestly, we know that Six wouldn't have been on if it wasn't for like Swag Kaga giving him that fucking olive branch, bro. Like, if Swag didn't let Six dick ride him, bro, I promise to God, Six would not be here. Like, that man would not be, like, around. Bro would still be at, like, 3K subs somewhere floating around on Discord in obscurity. Like, that's just kind of how I feel. But, yeah, like, it really goes, like, Swag, Seth, or Swag, Six, then Troy, then this nigga Outlaw Truth. But yeah.
Preferably don't pipe up the next time I'm trying to debate somebody, but really out of touch with what's going on.
He's not out of touch. He's definitely not out of touch. He's definitely like a low tier goon, but he's not out of touch.
You can say it.
Okay, it's like in order for
noodles. That's not that's not what that means. That's not what that means. It is. So you're kind of misunderstanding what I mean.
Why the fuck is he like? Why won't you let the nigga talk? Let the nigga speak.
It's simple.
So by me, let me finish. Yeah. By me saying it's possible. This hyperbole.
In fact, you know what? I'm gonna go back and just tear apart Outlaw Truth statement.
Clarification on the argument. Well, I think Troy is basically saying, but I get the counter argument, but Troy is basically saying,
what the fuck, bro? No, nigga, go back to the fucking debate, bro. Go back to the debate. Go back to this.
It's hyperbole and not meant to be taken. I'm misunderstanding what I mean by possibility. It's simple. So by me, let me finish. Yeah. By me saying it's possible, this hyperbole and not meant to be taken as like the infinite, everlasting reality. And so, since you're on the assertive, you can't claim this to be the case, so you can't have this range. You can have this infinite reaction. Hold on, wait, I'm not done. Not done. You can have this infinite range and infinite reaction time, right? Since you're the one who this claim is necessary for. I haven't did anything, so it's not a defeater to say, well, Troy, if you bring up something.
Also, by the way, Noodles, you have no fucking clue what an appeal to appeal to probability is, right? Which again, first of all, you're using the fucking fallacy wrong. It's not an appeal to is an appeal to probability. Did he say probability or possibility? Because if he said probability, then like he still used it wrong. If he used possibility, he still fucking used it wrong. An appeal to possibility is when a conclusion is assumed not because it's probably true or it has not, or like, it has not been demonstrated to be impossible, but because it is possible that it is true, no matter how improbable. That is an appeal to possibility. However, what he is doing is not creating a truth value on a statement. He's not doing that. What he is simply addressing is that this is a possibility. That's it. That's all it is. Like, he's not making any kind of truth value or true statement based on a possibility. That's not what he's doing. The fuck are we? This nigga is dumb. I low-key think like he just like reads shit that he sees someone else tell him to read, and he thinks it makes him smart, but it doesn't.
In the future, I can do the same to you.
Did you not?
Nigga, you can do whatever. You can do whatever you want.
Troy, you provided a counter argument though, and that counter argument gets debunked by itself. It's
No,
self-defeating.
it doesn't
Your
get
counter
debunked.
argument self-defeating. In fact,
it's not self-defeating at all.
It's like regressive.
What the fuck was that refutation, Troy? What the fuck was that?
The power scale.
Explain how it's self-defeating.
Because I can point out any random possibility.
Yes, you can. That doesn't defeat my claim.
Listen. I can point out that, like, let's say, like, let's give a moment where someone gets blitzed in one shot. Think of a moment like that. Give me a moment like that.
God.
Someone gets blitzed in one shot. In that moment, we can just say it's possible that they just weren't mentally prepared in that moment and that they were moving slower and mentally nerved, right? Like, that's just a possibility.
Okay, yes.
And because we can't internally judge whether or not this character is actually mentally nerved or not, and you're just pointing out that that's a possibility, you're not actually making a claim based on evidence. You're just baselessly assuming a possibility.
That's a presupposition. Like, he's openly presupposing that this can't, like, that these, like, what's the name? He's basically openly presupposing that like we cannot judge. Like it's like literally like something that cannot be judged. You cannot judge or like determine whether or not it's probable or likely. Like that's what he's basically saying, and it's fucking stupid. Like reacting to this Noodles debate, I think I'm low-key done with this shit because if I'm being honest, this motherfucker is not winning at all. Like he's not winning anything. He's losing pretty fucking badly. Like this is embarrassing that I have to actually watch this shit. And I'm not joking. Like, I genuinely think this is fucking sickening that I have to actually put, like, some kind of effort to watch this in. Like, holy fuck.
Could be the case without any evidence yourself. And because of that,
Yeah,
I can apply any
analogous
possibility to any given situation, including your own counter argument.
Oh my God, that's so dumb.
Troy is taking the wrong route. It should not be about whether or not it's analogous. Like, take the presupposition route. Say what the fuck I just said.
It's just a self-defeating position.
That is so dumb.
Something being self-defeating, just claim, oh, it's so dumb, it's so dumb. Yeah, something being self-defeating just means that when the standard applies to your own positions, it causes your own positions to fail.
Nigga, we know what self-defeating means. Why did you have to pause this? Like,
and his own position can have possibilities pointed out in it that make it non-literal.
Duh, nigga! No shit! No fucking shit. That's why we go over likelihood. Is this nigga fucking stupid? God damn. No shit, nigga. That's why we talk about probability. Oh my fuck. This nigga is he's a fucking vegetable. This nigga is not real. Like, what the fuck? Bro. You know what, chat? I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna watch this on my own time. I can't subject y'all to this bullshit no more. This is fucking terrible. I ain't gonna lie. Do y'all want to keep watching this bullshit? Let me know in the chat. Do y'all want to keep watching this shit? Or should we just move on to another video? Because fuck. Anybody with half a brain cell should be fucking walking circles around this nigga, dude. Oh my God. Right now, I want to know if y'all want to finish reacting to this video or if y'all want to move on. Which I have no issue with that. I'm fully in accordance with fucking moving on. Like, we should low-key move the fuck on. No funny shit. I think we should low-key move on. All right, perfect. Perfect. All right. So, I got sent a video on Discord by the homie, and apparently there's some things in there that I disagree with, which is typically everything I come across on this fucking platform. But all right. The fuck. All right, let me check my DMs. Paper Prince. All right, y'all. I'm only gonna be on live for like 20 more minutes. I got work, so gotta keep my shit important. You feel me?
When it comes to Dragon Ball power scaling, putting GT against Super has been done
Who the fuck is this? All right. Can y'all hear the chat? Can y'all hear this chat?
ever since the release of Battle of Gods, and nowadays a lot of people tend to have a very twisted view of how the two fare against each other, to the point where people generally believe that the likes of Base Goku from Resurrection F can actually defeat anyone in GT and so it. A lot of flawed scaling in this fandom comes from not only a lack of attention to GT's power, but also from severe misunderstanding of Dragon Ball Super scaling, since a lot of people tend to want to highball their verses as high as possible, and Super being the brand new Dragon Ball, a lot of people want to misrepresent the feats and scaling in the show to make them seem way stronger than they actually are. All this is to say that while a lot of people are very quick to call this a one-sided beatdown, I beg to differ, and today I'll be going into an in-depth explanation on how the two shows fare against each other by discussing Goku from Dragon Ball Super
Don't call yourself that and then proceed to say some bullshit in this video, please.
against Goku from Dragon Ball GT. I'll be using the anime version of Dragon Ball Super Goku, including the Broly movie and the superhero movie. Of course, since this is going to be a very hot and controversial take, I'm asking you to just watch the video with an open mind and to remove all your bias when watching this video. We will be scaling them using 3 different methods. The first method being a crossverse method, where we just take the best feats they have and compare them to each other. The second method will be inverse method, where we measure the characters' level of power relative to the strongest Bull Saga characters and compare how they stack against each other in that chain. The third method would be based purely on war, where we discuss who should logically be stronger based on war and nothing else. There will also be a fourth method, which would be based purely on how the franchise
On what?
officially acknowledges the power of the characters in the form of promotional material, guidebooks, games, and other spin-offs. I'll be leaving timestamps for every method, although I recommend watching the entire video because it includes a lot of never before behind it. Starting with Dragon Ball GT, we have the fact that Goku scales massively above Buhan, who in the anime was more than capable of causing a massive chain reaction that would have wiped out the entire universe. Through breaking dimensional barriers and bending space, Buhan is capable of letting parallel dimensions, at least the size of galaxies, enter and crush the universe, to create a fissure in
8D the outer versal.
space. This massive is an insane feat, and while not necessarily universal in my opinion, is impressive nonetheless, especially seeing how he did this by just screaming.
Yeah, the fucking blast that destroyed the barrier that equally contains the living world and otherworld and stops them from colliding. It's not universal. The state literally stated to wipe out the universe, but not universal. Holy fuck.
In Fusion Reborn, Gogeta's key is also said to be the equivalent of a Big Bang, and that's the event that literally created all the physical matter in the universe and made space-time itself expand infinitely. And of course, this is supported by the fact that we literally see that the explosion towards the cosmology and changed the very background of the afterlife with its heat. This would make Gogeta's mere presence universal plus. And one very overlooked detail is the fact that Janemba and his barriers managed to tank this explosion from a very close range, which would mean that Janemba's barriers and Janemba himself are both universal plus. And in contrast, Super Saiyan 3 Goku's kick was actually able to hurt Janemba, which means that Super Saiyan 3 Goku would also be universal plus in that movie. But even if you don't believe that Fusion Reborn is canon to GT, this would still scale to it, as Fusion Reborn Gogeta is actually acknowledged to be relative to Toei vs Vegito by Shueisha, implying that the fight between them would be good, and with Vegito potentially having the capacity to last over 30 minutes against him. Even if you don't believe that GT is canon to the movies, GT Goku would still scale to just about any movie exclusive feat just based on this, given the fact that he scales to Toei vs Vegito, who has scaling to Fusion Reborn Gogeta, who is essentially the strongest and fastest movie character. Note that this claim was made exclusively about the original Z anime Vegito, since Kai wasn't a thing back then, so there is no proof that the nerfed Vegito from Kai would have any sort of scaling to Fusion Reborn Gogeta. Furthermore, we have Baby's Revenge Dead Ball, which was so powerful that it sent Goku to Suguroku space. This is really interesting because Suguroku space is located within the subspace, which is outside of all of existence and outside all of the timelines, not belonging.
Oh my fucking god. can't even fucking read
anywhere
that.
in the world.
Wait, go back. Yeah, this shit is never stated. What the fuck? Yeah, no, that's not what's said. This is not the translation. Where the fuck did he get this from? That's not the translation for the scan. Okay, the translation for the scan actually just talks about how the subspace actually is like something that exists, but it's not something that houses Sugaroku space, the instant transmission zone, fucking hyperbolic time chamber, any of that. That's no, they're all subspaces. All of them are subspaces. Like that is what they're telling you. All of them are confirmed to be subspaces.
Within the subspace, which is outside of existence and outside of the two 17s managed to attach the two worlds and combine them. This goes beyond creating a portal, since the worlds were still combined even after the said portal was closed. And unlike in Fusion Reborn, even those villains that were still in Hell had lost their halos and were said to have come back to life. Even as far as the end of GT, they are said to have come back to life. This suggests that the very walls of the afterlife were completely altered. This would easily be a universal to wall multiversal feat, depending on where you scale the macrocosm. Another feat is GT Goku very casually shaking Hell, and he also scales above Fusion Reborn Goku, who shook the entire afterlife by going Super Saiyan 3. Then we have Omega Shenron, who just by existing is capable of destroying all of existence. It's implied that the Kaioshin had nowhere to run, which is massive because in GT we've seen that Kibito is capable of accessing the subspace after Goku broke out of Subaroku space, implying that Omega's minus energy would even be capable of reaching and destroying the subspace itself. Moving on to Dragon Ball Super, Goku has his feats where he clashed with Beerus and he supposedly threatened the macrocosm through a chain reaction. It's noteworthy that Goku and Beerus did not threaten space itself, as even Elder Kai notes that the universe will become an empty void, which is by definition an empty space. So they only threatened the physical universe. And not only was this a shared feat, but both of them were unable to survive the destruction and would be completely destroyed by it as directly stated. Which is
I said the same thing. Okay. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. He is kind of spitting here because I said the same shit. I said the same thing. Now, here's the issue, right? I'm going to give you your props, but I'm gonna take it away if you do not address the open counter to how you like to anyone trying to force this to refer back to later on like versions of Goku and Beerus. So just please don't fuck this up.
is consistent with Elder Kai saying that those waves are growing stronger on their own as they travel through space, making them more of a butterfly effect. We then have Zamasu, who is said to be able to become one with the
Okay, so I'm taking your points away. Again, it's verbatim stated like right after that again Goku and Beerus alone with just punches can literally like eradicate the universe. So again, like yeah, nah. It is a shared feat. It is something that is like that they won't survive, but they grow strong enough to survive it.
universe over time. This can be interpreted as him literally fusing with the universe and its space-time continuum itself, although it can also be interpreted as him simply physically spreading all across the universe, which is the better interpretation given that the episode preview by Shueisha itself implies that this is what he was doing. Also note that the
Yeah, no, he just merges with the not the timeline, but the space time continuum itself. And then Zeno shows up and he's like, "Oh shit, well like y'all kind of fucked this up, so I'm gonna just destroy everything." And then he proceeds to destroy the entire timeline instead of just the universe itself.
reason that Zamasu appeared in the past is simply because he used portal creation to time travel to the past the same way Black did, as verbatim.
That is true. That is true. The reason this happens is because again he entered through the exact same pathway that the main cast did, the Z Fighters did to get to Trunks' future. So he just went through that same pathway and then came into the past. It's not something that he forced like dimensional barriers to do.
Stated, and we even see the same portal behind Zamasus with Black. The next big feat is Goku and Jiren shaking the World of Void. This can be interpreted as them shaking the dimension itself, or simply them shaking the contents of the dimension. It's noteworthy that the dimension being infinite is
Hold up, cut. It actually does make some kind of sense because the entirety of like what was going on is the fact that like the blasts that are or the shock waves were getting stronger as they were going more outward. So like what was ending up destroying everything wasn't the starting point of Goku and Beerus's energy. Firstly, secondly, Goku was actively controlling and trying to manage his ki while these clashes were going on. So it would make some kind of sense as to why he would not survive this because again, it's ki that is out of his control. More on that, right? Goku then proceeds to grow and then get stronger to the point where he would not be affected by it. So that's different. I really don't want to watch that. So the Sugaroku realm is a subspace? Yes, it's a subspace. It is a subspace that transcends the concepts of time and space.
Actually mistranslation, and we actually see that it's positively curved, which means that it's finite, and that the dimension is actually said to be completely empty aside from the structures that the Grand Priest made. So overall, this feat is not impressive whatsoever, considering we don't know the size of the dimension, and the fact that there are only 3 to 4 structures for them to shake to begin with. Finally, we have Gogeta and Broly, who's
We literally know how strong these dimensions are. They are so strong to where, again, Goku and like all the other fighters can fight to their heart's content. They can fight with their ki uncontrolled. So again, because they can do that in areas like this, but they can't do it in areas like the macrocosm, or else they'll, like, their risk, like, again, macrocosmic levels of destruction. This is at least a place that is as strong, if not stronger, than the universe 7, and like, actually the universe went through 12 macrocosms. So yeah. Like,
power messed with the dimensional boundaries and sent them to another dimension. It's noteworthy that they didn't destroy the world, considering the fact that we literally see that everything, including dirt, is fine, so we can determine that the shattering screen effect is simply there for show, and it doesn't represent the world being destroyed.
what, nigga? Wait, go back.
We can determine that the shattering screen effect is simply there for show, and it doesn't represent dimensional boundaries and send them to another dimension. It's noteworthy that they didn't destroy the world, considering the fact that we literally see that everything, including dirt, is fine, so we can
That is dumb as fuck. Okay, yeah, because they shattered the fabric. Like, what the fuck? They shattered the fabric. They didn't destroy the world. That's not what the claim is. They destroyed the fabric of what the fucking world is built upon. They shattered it and went into something new, something above that fabric, and then they went back into it. Like, what the fuck?
determine that the shattering screen effect is simply there for show, and it doesn't represent the world being destroyed. With that same logic, we also can't conclude that the dimension they entered got destroyed once they exited it. Now, how do these feats compare? For starters, Gogeta and Broly's feat may seem impressive, but let's compare it in contrast to things done in Z and GT. In GT, Baby's Revenge Dead Bow was so strong that it sent Goku to Subaroku space, a realm completely cut off from existence itself, and is within the subspace. So by himself, Baby Vegeta already performed a feat on the same caliber, if not even greater, than what Broly and Gogeta together did. And messing with the dimensional barriers isn't a good feat, considering the fact that we literally see that Buu Saga characters are able to overcome them by simply shouting. We can similarly compare Zamasu's feat to 17's feat. While Zamasu was vaguely going to become one with the universe, that by itself scales nowhere, especially when we don't know what exactly that entails, and we don't have a time frame for it, since he was killed shortly after managing to just cover the Earth itself and the space around Earth. And even assuming that he was going to become one with space-time itself, this is still massively behind the 217s, casually fusing the entire macrocosm and countering its very walls of nature. Keep in mind that Zamasu is at least Super Saiyan Blue level, arguably Vegeta Blue level. Meanwhile, within GT, Hellfighter 17 and Tregor 17 were only about as strong as base Vegeta. So the difference in power speaks for itself. And while Goku and Beerus threatened to destroy the physical universe through a chain reaction, Buhan threatened the same by himself, and he was also
What are you
affecting
talking
space-time
about?
itself. And on top of that, Buhan is implied to be able to survive the destruction, whereas Beerus and Goku wouldn't be able to survive it. So the Battle of Gods
This shit
feat
is
scales
low-key
nowhere near what the
biased as fuck.
217s did,
I'm
what
not gonna
Omega was going
lie.
to do, and even what Fusion Reborn Gogeta did by just appearing. In fact, Super Saiyan 3 Goku's kick from Fusion Reborn has better scaling than the entire Battle of Gods feat. Not to mention the Battle of Gods arc
I agree
sequence
with
being
that.
heavily contradicted and poorly written, given the fact that Elder Kai claims that DOS waves apparently have the power to destroy the universe in 3 shots, which means that one wave has
He
the
not
power to
yapping. He
destroy
not
one fifth of
wrong
the
on this
universe, and
portion, but
yet
like
it caused
before I
nowhere
said he
near
was
even
right,
solar system level
he
damage.
low-key
And low-key
bullshit.
control absolutely does not explain this, considering the fact that Goku had no control over the waves, and considering the fact that the Deizenshu verbatim states that shockwaves have nothing to do with ki to begin with. Even if you accept the headcanon that Goku was somehow controlling them.
Okay, now you yapping. Go back really quickly. It has nothing to do with ki. Okay. Oh, holy shit. But yeah, this is talking about like basically the literal shockwave in general, which is kind of funny actually. Since it doesn't directly attack with ki, it is not a key manipulation technique, strictly speaking. That doesn't mean it has nothing to do with ki. What the fuck? That's not what that means. 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 Just because it's not a key manipulation technique outright does not mean that it is not related to ki. That is dumb as fuck. Okay, again, we know that a shockwave, right, is again a wall of air that is produced when an object moves through the atmosphere faster than the speed of sound. Okay, they're only able to do this with ki. Goku punches And these punches are as powerful as they are and create these shockwaves because of ki. That's not a what the fuck?
Shockwaves have nothing to do with ki to begin with. Even if you accept
Not
that
true.
canon that Goku was somehow controlling them after they were released, which was never stated anywhere, this doesn't explain anything to begin with because Elder Kai would be referring to those same ki-controlled shockwaves, and he would be saying that those same ki-controlled shockwaves would be 1/3 universal, and yeah, that's contradicted, so regardless the contradiction stands. But either way, it doesn't matter because even if we give the best possible interpretation for this feat, Gogeta from Z is already scaling light years above this. And finally, we have the shaking feats in which GT absolutely takes this as well, considering the fact that base GT Goku casually and accidentally shook L, which is as light as the macrocosm according to the map, and it's filled with matter. Meanwhile, Goku and Jiren shook a realm with like 3 to 4 structures inside of it. And I want to put something into perspective here. Super Saiyan 3 Goku's ki infusion reborn was so strong that it shook violently a structure on the other side of the afterlife. Meanwhile, Goku and Jiren's ki was so weak that it didn't even visibly shake the arena or the seats next to the arena, which were
That's
a
not
couple
true.
100 meters away at most.
That's openly not true. What the fuck? Krillin directly says that the entire world of void is shaking. Nigga, what? Huh? You know what? This is low-key becoming one of those videos where I feel like I should just skip it. And I gotta get ready for work in like 5 minutes. You know what, y'all? The video's right there. If y'all wanna, if y'all wanna go watch it or watch the rest of it. Holy fuck, man. Shit. All right, y'all. Y'all know what the deal is. Like, holy shit. Holy fucking shit. But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna fire back at y'all with another video. Very, very soon. I can't believe I just had to watch that shit. Also, I do need to know what should I have for lunch, chat. I need to get this answer before I leave. Panda Express or Wingstop? I need your answers. I need your answers. I need your answers. You feel me? Go. I need that. I need that answer, chat. Wingstop or Panda Express? I need that. I need to know. I need to know. And 4 niggas left when I said that shit. Who gives a fuck? I need to know, chat. My real niggas is gonna answer. My real niggas is gonna answer the question. I will flip a coin, but I'm still too indecisive for that. Yeah, I might just end up getting both. I might just say fuck it and get both. All right, the wings. All right, then for sure. All right, love y'all, dog. I'm gonna see y'all later. Be good to people, and yeah, I'm out. Peace.